I put my tent air mattress in there with a blanket and pillow, and the other side I had like oil, funnels, different things like that. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Oil on your bike?
No, I don't.
Oil.
You know, if anybody
oil. Mine needs oil, so you know.
But if anybody's dead, or anything like that, it's there. You know, so and it's like people don't understand, dude. You can be so fucking free.
Yeah, if that's what you want. But you know, I had a friend of mine. I mean, I had a couple of different guys put comments on my stuff, and one of them that I really remember, I think a couple of them said this. He said, Scotty, he said, I have the freedom to have a steady job, a home, and a family. And I'm like, that's freedom too. There's a lot of countries. Freedom is in the eye of the beholder, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of countries where people don't have that freedom.
That is true.
So, you know, that is a great freedom to be able to have stability in a home and a job and a family. So it's just a matter of perspective. You know, I think one of the reasons that the Harley thing doesn't appeal to the young, because when I started riding, it was all guys like you, and I was that age too. I was in my 20s when I started riding Harleys, and most of the guys were young. We had a few old guys, but one of the things was it was kind of, at that time, it had the Harley and the biker image was the image of the nonconformist, right? This guy was a nonconformist and a freedom lover, and somewhere that changed. And when the whole Harley thing started, because I watched it start. It started right around the late 80s, 1990. It really started to get rolling. Okay, I watched it come up. It was really strange to watch this happen. Because before that, it was a bunch of ragtag guys. We had the cops hassle us all the fucking time. They pulled me over just for looking at me because I was riding Harleys. I had them pull about 13 of us over once. Let all the Jap bikes go and ticket only the Harleys. The nightstick up the exhaust pipe. So then the cops got into it. Everybody got into it. Then we stopped having trouble with the cops, and that was better. So I watched the whole thing. And all these old guys, they because back in the past, the old citizens, they had a term. Guys would call their Harley a scooter, right? I'm going to the store, baby. I'm going to take the scoot. And the guy who rode a Harley was a scooter tramp. That's where I ended up with the name. And the people who didn't were citizens. These are old terms from the past, right? And so, where was I going with it? When all the citizens started riding Harleys, which it changed a lot of things. A lot of things got better. Some weren't as good. It brought money to the rallies. I was able to make a living. All these things changed. But one of the things is now the Harley Davidson is the symbol of conformity and old age. Well, it's mostly old guys riding them, right? It's the symbol of conformity and old age. When I was young, it was attractive. It was young guys who were fucking wild and free and nonconformists.
I'll tell you this in my whole honest opinion, one place that Harley completely fucked up. Dude, I can go buy a car for what I pay for my Harley. But people don't understand that. You want the younger generation to get into them. One, putting them on electric bikes. Nobody in the city gives a shit about a Harley. They just don't. You have to appeal to the blue-collar people that brought you to where you are today.
The blue collars will always be there. They will always be there.
They will.
And
Sturgis.
They don't take care of us.
Hollister. Let's take it all the way back before Sturgis was even a thing. Hollister. It was all blue-collar military people that got out and went and did something different.
I remember when Hollister started.
Yeah,
that's how old I am.
See, I've been to Hollister, so and then even
I never been to it.
But even if you go to Sturgis today, which you're headed to Sturgis, I've been to Sturgis. A lot of the people that you see get out and they ride and they do all the event part of it, as far as the getting out and doing the trails and riding the scenic byways and all that stuff, right? And they enjoy life. They're blue collar people. The people that trailer their fucking bikes up and they do all this, those are the ones that...
You got a Glock, man. You got a Glock in your pocket.
Dude, you want to fight about it?
You got a Glock in that pocket?
Yeah. You want to fight about it?
You ain't heard about that story.
Funny story. So we were in Memphis one night, and this dude's asking us, and he's like, yeah, I'm in law enforcement. Like, yeah, I'm in the military. He's like, yeah, you know, what do you carry? I was like, and I'm like, dude, that doesn't matter. So he kept on and on, and I'm like, dude, just leave it alone.
And you had a beer in your back pocket.
Yeah. He goes, well,
where were you?
We were in Memphis.
We were downtown Memphis, Beale Street.
Beale Street.
You were just on Beale Street?
Yeah. And
you probably got a concealed carry, don't you?
Yeah, oh yeah. So
what's the matter?
So
more guns the better now.
Exactly.
This guy kept telling
us.
This guy gets in our face and says he's the mayor of Beale Street.
No, hold on. This gets better. So he finally tells him, he goes, Well, we carry Glocks. So I have a beer in my back right pocket. And I'm in tack pants. I'm not in blue jeans. I'm in tack pants. And this dude walks up and grabs me. When he does, I lose my mind. And I shove him off of him. I'm like, dude, get the fuck away from me. Like, don't touch me. You know? And this dude is like going down the street and he just keeps yap. And Sean finally gets in between and he's like, dude, we're not the guys to mess with. You know? He's like, well, you don't fucking know me. I'm the mayor of Bill Street. I'm like,
the mayor of Bill Street is a drunk.
I was
the guy
like,
drunk.
Dude, I don't know what he was. He was something. So anyway, so we walk up to this cafe, dude, and we were already in line, and the guys had already seen us. They were about to let us in. This dude starts drama again. I'm like, you know what, man? You can go ahead. And this cop kind of rolls down his window. Sean goes over there and talks to him. He's like, yep. I'm walking in there. And he walks in there. Did you see him arresting when he walked out? So
Did he arrest him?
Yeah, he lets him finish eating, pays his tab, and then he arrests him and walks him out the side door.
What did he arrest him for?
Public intoxication and disruption of the peace.
No, dude was giving us a hard time the whole way. He follows down the street. We're like, dude, get the fuck away from us. And he kept on and messing with him. Then he reached for his pocket and grabbed in his pocket. And I'm like, he goes, you don't know who I am. And we both were like, you don't know who we are.
Yeah. Like, this gets turned sideways real quick.
Yeah.
All you had to do was show him your badge. Did you have it on you?
I didn't have it on me. I didn't have anything.
You showed him that, I would have scooted him away.
It wouldn't have. That dude.
The reason I didn't have my badge and guns because I knew we were going to be drinking, and you can't carry that stuff when you're drinking.
Doesn't sound like you needed a gun.
I'm just saying.
Need a gun.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I do with drunks when they come up, you ever get them? They want like, hey, buddy, you want to be my friend? You know that guy?
But no,
You know
those guys are the cool ones. Them are the guys
Yeah.
I'll be like, dude, I want to go buy a 40 and sit there and drink it with you so you can tell me your life story because there's something comical going to come out of this.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that Harley's forgotten about the blue collars because the blue collars are there's. To me, a motorcyclist is a guy who loves bikes. Whether he travels on it, whether he's riding a 450 Honda, it's just not the guy's got bikes in his system. The one that's probably always going to ride, he's probably never going to quit. He's probably always going to have a bike in that garage. Those people are born, not made. And those of us that are like that are going to ride these bikes forever.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a fad that comes and goes with us. And so I think Harley's really lost it with that by concentrating on the yuppies. The yuppie thing's kind of falling off now.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not going back to the blue collar guys. So I don't know. I'm not an executive.
I'll tell you
but
what.
I also think they should get people that work there that actually ride fucking motorcycles. Those are the
Oh,
guys.
absolutely.
Those
You
are the
can't
guys
take white collar and put it in blue collar. They're never gonna accept it.
man. They shot down the
Dude, actually,
the
hold
$1
on.
million Bogan. They shot the $1 million Bogan down. That guy was some of the best fucking advertising they could
Dude,
get.
actually, so riddle me this.
That was free.
Riddle
Some
me
of the
this.
best advertising they could get. They shoot him down like it's shooting yourself in the dick. What are you, a fucking moron?
Okay.
Then they pay some golfer a bunch of money to put Harley on his shirt or something. You know,
Here's
nobody
the thing.
cares about that.
Why would you pay the UFC to put Harley Davidson inside the octagon? Nobody gives a fuck, right? Why the fuck would you pay the dude that played Thor, give him a fucking bike, and he does nothing with it? He doesn't drive himself. People drive him. You want to get if Harley no shit wants to get back to the roots of it all, $1 million Bogan.
Support me. Guys like me. Somebody that, you know?
You?
And then they fucked up with Adam Sandoval, right?
$1 million.
That was dumb.
Dude,
Yeah.
they gave Adam,
demands on it.
Adam, I think it was 5 or 7 bikes. I can't remember exactly. They gave him these bikes. Like, here you go. These are yours. Thank you for doing what you did. He goes, no. He goes, I tell you what. You pay for the fuel to go in my gas tank, and I'm going to go give these bikes away to vets. People that earned them. People that are going to ride them. And that's what he went and did.
Well, he told me they put a lot of stipulations on it. They wanted he
they
wasn't allowed to ride any other bike.
No, when they gave him his bike, he was not allowed to put his leg over any other bike.
But he also has a dirt bike channel. How's he going to do that?
Well,
You
now
know what I mean?
he
Just
can't.
give him the fucking bike
well,
and take what you get.
No, because Harley screwed him. You know, Harley did what Harley did, right?
He was some of their best advertising. These
He
guys
is.
are their advertising.
He
And
is.
it's the free shit. You know how, when Harley's sales went off the chart? Was when Terminator 2 came out, And Arnold Schwarzenegger rode that fucking Softail through the movie. Harley sales skyrocketed after that, right? So if you wanted to use a bike in your movie or something, they would bring, or whatever it was, they would bring the bikes down a handler and give them to you. That was fucking smart. Guys like Adam Sandoval, I shouldn't fuck with that guy. If you're gonna give him a bike, give him a goddamn bike, and just tell him, well, we'd like to get something back out of it, like what Polaris is doing.
Yeah.
You know, Indian, right? He's riding Polaris now. I'll
tell you this, Indian, by far.
They treat him nice, he said.
I'll tell you this, by far. You take a showroom bike of Harley and you take an Indian and put them on the street together, that Indian's going to outperform that Harley, hands down.
Could be.
I don't know. The Harley just won, what was that race they just had out in California? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. The bagger race, the bagger street race thing
when,
they
this
have.
Weekend?
It was a couple weekends ago. It was in California, I think.
Well, I'll look it up. The first one they done Indian.
They blew Indian away.
The first one they done Indian won. But dude,
Polaris,
I'll tell you this: I've put my leg over a Challenger, a Chieftain.
Of course, I've had a few people tell me too that since Polaris took over Indian, that they're made really cheap right now.
Dude, they are not. They are not. I'll tell you this:
Polaris makes good stuff.
I'll tell you this.
There's nothing Indian about it, though. Yeah. There's not an Indian part, Indian nothing,
yeah.
An Indian dye.
Now, I will say this.
It's Polaris. Polaris built.
The Indian dealerships are not out there like the Harleys are. But as far as putting your leg, if you were to go buy a bike off the showroom floor, by far, Indian has them beat. Hands down.
There's one thing all motorcycles have in common. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
They all do exactly the same thing.
That is true.
You get on it here, you start it up, you drive it over there, you park it, you get off it.
But as far as being comfortable and powered, Indian has more of it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you another thing too, is I like the Victories better.
Really?
Yeah, the Victory.
My buddy's a big Victory fan.
I thought the
Shout out to you,
Victories
Mitch. Shout out to you, Mitch. It's a fucking Victory, dude.
Do you think Mitch will see my channel?
Yeah, Mitch was there with us.
I think, because I've only test ridden them.
Who was Mitch? I didn't meet Mitch.
I like the Victories better.
Really?
I've ridden the Indians twice, yeah. I like the way they rode better if you were just judging them on rideability.
Yeah.
One of them, I took a ride on that big thing that looked like the space age thing. I forget what they called that one. That really funky looking fucker they built. But there was no way to complain about it except maybe that it was a little top heavy. There was nothing. You know what was interesting about it? It had a switch you could switch and your speedometer would go from kilometers to miles. It would go bang, and that tripped me out, man.
Did Victory shut down, or are they still?
Victory Polaris.
Victory was Polaris.
Victory.
So they joined. They merged.
Well, Victory was Polaris.
They're all the same company.
Right.
Polaris just started. They bought the Indian,
and they wanted
Indian. To try to build a bike that looked like the old style Indian. There's nothing Indian about it. Nothing. It's a Polaris motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's not a tool or a die. Anybody who worked for Indian. Nothing in that bike is Indian. And you know what was interesting? Because there was a lot of people, that name was floating around for years. And there was different guys bought the name and tried to build something out of it. And they were building just aftermarket choppers using S&S engines because they didn't have the money. And they would go out of business right away. One guy stole the money and left the country. He got a bunch of investors. But when Polaris got it, I started watching it because Polaris is a big company now. They got the money to build whatever they want. And they can take a loss on it for some years until they begin to make a profit. And so I listened to one of the execs talk. I think I read an article about him. And he said, first we had to figure out if the Indian name could hold its mud. And then once we decided that that was true, then we had to find out what it was that people remembered about the Indian. So they went out in the public and they asked people. They thought it would be the fenders kind of thing, you know, the big steel fenders on
the front
it wasn't.
Fender,
It was the fucking engine. They all remember the engine. So they took a modern overhead cam fucking computerized engine and tried to make it look like a flathead. The Victory was honest. It was never built to be like anything else.
Right.
So Victory they're both Polaris. They're both Polaris. Polaris builds ATVs, snow machines.
But they got more popularity out of the Indian name, so they did away with the Victory.
Indian name, that's the world we live in.
Right.
But there's nothing Indian about it. It's a Polaris motorcycle. The same as Victory was. They called it a Victory.
No.
There's nothing Indian about it.
But, I mean, just like anybody